We see a lot of heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, and marijuana coming through Arizona.
I had to have some heroin just to be able to function, to be able to get up out of bed.
I knew if I did not make a drastic decision that she was going to die.
I realized that Devin was pawning things, stealing things.
In the end, he surrounded himself with the wrong kind of people.
You feel a lot of shame. You feel, where did we go wrong? I'm Ernie.
And I'm Kathy, and our son is a recovering heroin addict who just got out of prison. When Jeff was growing up, he was just a really active, normal kid. He was always very smart, very curious.
He started using marijuana and prescription drugs to the point where he wouldn't come home for a couple of days, 2, 3, 4 days at a time. We tried everything to get him to understand that what he was doing was wrong and it was going to hurt him in the end. But he eventually just decided that that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to chase that high, and that's where it ended, in prison.
I'm Lori. I'm the mother of a recovering heroin addict. Devin was a great kid. He got into a lot of different things. He was doing magic as a young kid. He did clay animation. He started to play guitar.
My name is Devin. I'm a recovering heroin addict. When I started smoking weed, I noticed that I was kind of more secretive about certain things or certain activities. I wouldn't fully disclose either to my family or even certain friends of what I was doing or what I was going to do or who I was hanging out with.
We talked to him about alcohol and drugs and marijuana and cigarettes even. And it was like, oh, well, no, I'll never do that, Mom. And we had all those conversations. And so when I heard that, I was just astounded. It's like, how on earth could this possibly be an intelligent, bright kid who certainly knows better?
I couldn't do anything unless I was high. Or in my case, just being well. Like, it wasn't even about getting high anymore. It was just being not dope sick. So I had to have some heroin just to be able to function, to be able to get up out of bed.
His guitars were gone, all these different things gone from the house. And I called him on it. And at that point, I really just got mad. I just was so angry that he had been lying to us all that time.
My name is Chris Sopa, and I'm the mother of a recovering heroin addict and raising my grandson who was born addicted to heroin. Lindsay was a really exuberant child. She was extremely smart in school. She always got straight A's. She always hung with like the honors kids. As she got older, she was very into sports. She played softball from the time she was about 6 years old. Lindsay was about 13 when it started, and it started with the typical drinking and marijuana. And hers progressed when she turned about 15, 16. It turned to prescription drugs, which she would crush up and inhale. From that, the pills got too expensive, and so she moved to heroin and then also crack cocaine. And I knew something was up. And at this point, not only was I scared for my daughter, but I am scared for my unborn grandson. She had the baby on January 8th of 2013, and he was born addicted to heroin and crack cocaine. We were financially drained from rehab. We had assets stolen, money stolen, you name it. So anything that I had and her dad had, she had found a way of pawning it or stealing it. And she went from being in recovery, that was her third time in recovery and rehab in a 7-month period of time, to the tune of about $90,000. I gave her 2 trash bags and I said, you have 20 minutes, put what you can in these bags and get out, and you're not taking the baby.
My name is Hannah Morgan, and my oldest brother was killed in a drug-related shooting. He started using marijuana at the age of 15. He really was tired of being labeled as a good kid, and all of his friends were using it at that point. And by the age of 16, we put him into rehab, and that was a struggle for our family. His so-called friend decided that he was going to steal my brother's a pound of marijuana, a pound, and for some unknown reason, he decided, I'm going to steal his gun too, but while I'm at it, I'm going to shoot him in his sleep.
Now that Jeff's out of prison, he is living with us at home. It's an exception that we made, provided that he follows some of our rules.
I started to get counseling. I went to the DrugFreeAZ website, which was full of great information, had this whole thing on intervention. And I literally printed it out and had it with me when I sat down with Devin to say, this is not acceptable.
The wheels began to turn of like, okay, maybe I can do this. once I got the drugs out of my system and started to feel what being sober was. It was frightening, but I felt a little bit more comfortable with it.
Thank goodness he did get it. He's been doing great, and I feel like I've got my son back.
Everybody is great today, thank God. My daughter just moved back in with me after being in a halfway house for the good part of this past year. My grandson, who was born addicted to heroin, is 15 months old now and is doing fantastic. He is healthy, he is cognitively on track, and a happy baby.
My platform is Reach for Your Dreams, Not Drugs, and I'm using that and telling Zach's story how he was before drugs, during drugs, and after his death. And using that to connect to people and let them know that you have the ability to change. You have the ability to say no to drugs and reach for your dreams.
Parents just have to be vigilant. They have to read, they have to know, they have to be educated, they have to keep an eye on their kids.
Number one, get help for yourself first. Educate yourself. The biggest thing that helped me was finally getting a counselor for me and really educating myself on what I was going through.
The advice that I would give, or we would both give to any parents struggling with their children and being involved in drugs or alcohol, is just to talk to them about it. Do whatever you can to build up their self-esteem and help them understand that that's not a road that they need to go down to feel good about themselves.